We're reading Christmas stories today. And let me get the lights. Oh, went the wrong way. You know, I hope I can get enough light in here to see my pages. I think I can. I'm going to sit up here close to him. Okay, some of y'all may know. If you didn't know, I'll tell you. I used to work in an elementary school library. I used to work at Riverwood in the elementary school. So I got to read a lot of books. Got to read through, you know, kindergarten through 5th grade. And when I come to work here, I only get to read the little bitty kids. And I got to thinking about, there's so many good books I can't read. So I come up with this idea. Miss Christie said, yeah, we could go ahead with it. So we are doing a little bit older story time. And we have a little bit, our crafts for this age. For some of y'all that are used to just coming to the regular story time, some of our crafts are maybe a little more in depth than the ones we do for preschool. But it's bigger kids, bigger time. We're going to read a variety of Christmas stories today. And this first one is one that I first started reading when I was working at elementary school, and I love it. And it's called Silver Packages. It is by Cynthia Rylant, same one that writes Putter and Tabby, I do believe. A train comes through Appalachia every Christmas this time. And it doesn't have antlers, or does the man standing on the rear platform have a white beard? It may as well be Santa Claus and his sleigh for all the excitement it stirs up. People call it the Christmas train, and it's been coming there for years. Each new child born in the mountains learns to walk, talk, and wait. The Christmas train. It is everybody's delight. The older people remember its beginning. They tell of a rich man who come traveling through the hills by car many years back. Nobody knows why he came up into the hills, and that's not important. What matters is what happened. That man had an accident. His car took itself right over the side of a ridge, and that man was slumped in that car, hurt and scared, and somebody came along. Some say it was old Miss Crookshank, but others say it was Betty Britt. But who came along wasn't important either. Whoever it was pulled that rich man out of his car, and they took him into the house in the hills where he was nursed and cared for until he could make it out on his own. When he left, the rich man tried to give money to the people who had helped him, but they wouldn't accept it. So that rich man left the mountain feeling he owed a great debt. And for the remaining years of his life, he has been repaying this debt from the caboose of a train he brings into the hills each December. On the 23rd, everybody knows it, the train will slowly wind up and around the mountains, and on the platform of its caboose will stand the rich man in a blue wool coat. He will toss sparkling silver packages into the hands of each child who waits beside the tracks. And for some, it will be the only present they receive. So that train is awfully important. One year, a boy named Frankie stood beside the tracks, and he waited for the Christmas train. It was very cold, and a lot of snow had come down the night before, and Frankie's shoes were thin, and his feet hurt really bad from the cold. But he was so determined to wait, even if his feet and all the rest of him became ice. Now, this particular boy wanted a particular present, not just any present tossed from the back of the train, a particular present, a doctor's kit. He'd been waiting for it beside the tracks. The train comes through finally, noisy and steaming and scary. It's so big, but everybody loves to see it. And they cheer up and they clap, and some of the mothers even weep to see it coming. Frankie stands there by the track, praying for a doctor kit, till he sees the caboose slowly coming up. And when it's just past his nose, he shouts and waves and runs after the train, his icy feet just a-aching. From the rear platform, the rich man in the wool coat sees him. "Merry Christmas," he calls, and he tosses into Frankie's hand a sparkling silver package. Frankie stops running. He's out of breath, so he can't even yell a thank you. He can only hold it tight and wave to the man and the disappearing train in the mountains. Frankie carries his package home, and he puts his own name on it, and he sets it under the family Christmas tree. And on Christmas morning, he opens it. It's not a doctor's kit. It's a cowboy holster set and 3 pair of thick red socks. Frankie looks at his mother and fathers and brother and sisters, and he tries not to cry. He wears them socks all winter and he plays with that cowboy set all year, but he dreams of a doctor's kit. Next Christmas, Frankie waits again in the cold for the Christmas train. The socks still fit him, so his feet are warm, but his fingers are cold and hurting. He waits at the track and he prays for a doctor kit. The train comes, the rich man tosses a silver package, and on Christmas morning, Frankie opens it. Nah, just a little police car with lights that really work, plus 2 pair of brown mittens. Frankie doesn't cry. He wears them mittens all winter, and he plays with that car all year, but he still dreamed of his doctor's kit. Frankie waited 3 more years for a doctor's kit. It never came. He got trucks and balls and games, and he got mittens and socks and hats and scarves, but the doctor kit never came. So when Frankie grew up, he moved away from the hills. He lives in different places and meets different kinds of people, and he himself changes a little into a different kind of person. But deep in him, never changing, are the memories. And what he remembers most about being a boy in the hills is just that when his feet he thought would freeze in the snow, a man on a train brought socks. And just when his fingers were hurting and turning to ice, that man brought mittens. And when that cold wind was cutting sharp as a knife into his throat, that man brought a scarf. And when Frankie's ears were numb and red with cold, man brought him a hat. And what Frankie remembers something about owing a debt. So a grown man who's been gone for a long time moves back into those same mountains to live. His brother and sisters live there and they're waiting for him. He returns to the hills where he's grown up, and that winter, near Christmas, he stands at the tracks, watching the children wait for the train. And it comes, as always. And the grown man watches the steam engine move toward him and the caboose roll by him. And he nearly misses that train, so strong are his memories. This grown man nearly runs after a silver package. But instead he watched a little girl chase that caboose, and he watched the man in the wool coat toss her a sparkling package, watched the gift land right near her feet, watches her running so fast she trips on that package, and he watched her fall hard to the ground. That grown man doesn't run now. He does run now, but not for a train, not for a rich man in a wool coat. He runs for a little girl. He picks her up, wipes away her tears with a scarf around his neck, and he smiles at her. "It's okay, little one," he says easily. "The train is disappearing into the trees." He had meant to wave to the rich man, but there wasn't time. He picks up the silver package and he puts it in the little girl's arms. "You'll be all right," he tells her. "I'll make sure." He pulls open his kit to look for a Band-Aid. "My name's Frank," he smiles. "I'm a doctor." The end. And the name of this book is December, and it's by Eve Bunting. And she dedicated it to her grandchildren who have the faces of angels, just like y'all. Okay, now these people are homeless. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you that in this story, this mother and the boy are homeless. "My mother and I live in a house we made ourselves. There's black printing on the wall and the floor. Drink Coca-Cola. Handle with care. Clorox. They live in a house made out of cardboard boxes. We have a baby food baby on the roof. Our house is small. There's room for us and what we have, but tonight's Christmas Eve, so we have more. We have a tiny tree. It's the top of a real tree the Christmas lot man gave us. We've hung it with neat things. A toy soldier that I've kept since I was little. A shiny silver spoon. Beads from a necklace I once found on the sidewalk. And my mom made a star for the top. Under the tree, on a paper Santa plate, are 2 Christmas cookies, one red and one green. The green one's mine. I collected 32 soda pop cans, and I took them to John's Market to get them cookies. Mr. John gave me the plate. On our wooden crate are Mary, the baby, one shepherd, and one sheep. We tried to make the soldier be Joseph, but it didn't look right. And we have a fat red candle, too. We don't light it, Simon, Mom says. We might start a fire and then we'd have no house at all. I understand. We don't need light. The street lamp outside kind of shines through our walls all night. Still, the candle would be nice. I lie beside Mom under the heavy coat that she says once belonged to my dad. The street light shimmers on our Christmas angel. She's a page torn from a calendar that we've pinned to the wall. Her name is December. She sings to us while we're asleep, Mom says. Sometimes if a noise wakes me up in the night, a garbage truck or a city bus going by on Sepulveda, I close my eyes and I listen for an angel song, but I don't never hear it. Tonight it's a different noise that wakes me. Somebody's thumping on our door, which isn't a door at all. It's just a piece of wood propped up against the opening. That thumping scares me. Maybe they're going to make us move from here. But not when tomorrow's Christmas. Please, not when tomorrow's Christmas. Thump, thump. My heart thumps too. Who's there? Mom stands and tries to push me behind her, but I get in front. I always look after her. Who's there? Nobody answers. Mom slides the wood so that she can peer out, and then she lifts the door away. I see this old woman, and she's half hidden in all these clothes on top of clothes, and her black hat has a fake rose pinned to it. Can I come in? She asks. I'm so cold. Mom looks her over carefully. On the street, she got to be careful. Then she takes the old woman's arm. Come on in. The old woman is bent way over, but I think that's how she is, not because our roof is so low. Sometimes I'm afraid my mom will be bent like that. Can I sleep here tonight? The woman asks. Yes, Mom takes the coat that's still warm from being over us. Wrap up in this. The woman sits on the floor with my father's coat over her muddle of clothes. I'm wondering if it's Christmas yet. That's a beautiful tree, she says. I nod. Here, she takes off her hat, unpins the rose on it. Put this on it. You don't want it? Put it close to the star, she tells me. I do, and it looks good. I see her staring at the cookies. She's probably hungry. She swallows and her neck is so thin I can watch the swallow going down. I think of something nice that I could do, but I try not to listen to that thought. I don't want to do it. I put out my hand, I pull it back, I put it out, and I pull it again. I lift the Santa plate. Here, have the green one. She takes the cookie and eats it slowly. I try hard not to think of all those soda cans. Mom smiles at me. I'm glad when she doesn't offer to give her the red cookie too, because I'm pretty sure tomorrow we're going to go halfers on that. There's just enough room for the three of us to lie side by side. It's warm in here, the old woman says. She smiles. It's warm with love. Maybe, but still I miss the weight of my daddy's coat over us. I miss the him smell. Even though I don't remember him, I curl up as close to Mom as I can. The traffic outside's not as loud as usual, Christmas Eve, and I sleep. When I wake up, it's morning and the street lamp is off. Shadows lie outside our cardboard house. I start to wake Mom to say, Merry Christmas, but then I remember the old lady. She's gone, and my dad's coat is neatly folded. Maybe I'm not that nice because I looked real quick to see if she took that red cookie. It was still there. The woman hasn't put the wood back to close her door, so I get up and I see a dim figure in the opening. Was she there all that time? It's not the woman, though. It's our angel, December. It can't be. I know I'm dreaming. I rub my eyes and look again. She's still there. But I can see the calendar page. She's still on the wall. How can that be? She takes a step backwards, folding her wings like a great shining moth. I sleepwalk to the door. None of this is real. I know that. It's foggy outside. I look up and there is our angel. Her wings fan to cover our cardboard house. And she's singing so softly I can barely hear it. My knees are shaking. I need to lean against something, but if I lean against her house, it'll fall down. So I hug my arms around myself and I watch as that angel pales into the sky and disappears into the lifting fog. Everything is still. I stumble inside. It's hard for me to put the wood back by myself, but I do. And then I crawl in next to Mom again. Was I here beside her all the time dreaming of angels? Then why are my feet cold? Doesn't the angel only sing when we're asleep? Was I asleep? It's strange how everything started to turn around after that for us. People would say our luck just turned. Maybe, I don't know. And now it's another Christmas Eve. Mom has been working since summer, and we have an apartment in the project 2 floors up with real walls. And we have a tiny tree. On its branches hang a toy soldier, a silvery spoon, the beads I once found on the sidewalk, and a crumpled fake rose. Under the tree is a paper plate with 2 cookies, one red, one green. And on our crate are the red candle, Mary, the baby, one shepherd, one sheep, and Joseph. December smiles down at us from her place on the wall. I never noticed until after last Christmas Eve, but if you look really closely, you can see she has a faded rose in her hair. Now this next story has been around a long time, and I like it. And some people, how many of y'all are like 6 or 7 years old? Any of y'all 8, 9? Well, do you know, some people when they start getting 8 or 9 years old, they think there's not a Santa Claus. Well, this story is about what happened when one little girl thought that. And the name of this story is, Yes, Virginia, there is a Santa Claus. Very pretty pictures. In 1897, a young girl wrote to the New York Sun, that's a newspaper, asking whether Santa Claus truly existed. Dear editor, I'm 8 years old. Some of my little friends say there's no Santa Claus. Papa says if you see it in the sun, then it's so. Please tell me the truth. Is there a Santa Claus? Virginia O'Hanlon. The paper's response, written by Francis P. Church, appeared in the Sun on September 21st, 1897. Is there a Santa Claus? We take pleasure in answering at once, thus prominently the communication below, expressing the same time our great gratification that its faithful author is numbered amongst the friends of the Sun. Virginia, your little friends are wrong. They have been affected by the skepticism of a skeptical age. They do not believe except for what they see. They think there is nothing that they cannot, that they think that nothing that which is not comprehensible by their little minds. All minds, Virginia, whether they are men's or children's, are little. In this great universe of ours, man is a mere insect, an ant, in his intellect as compared with the boundless world around him, as measured by the intelligence capable of grasping the whole of truth and knowledge. Yes, Virginia, there is a Santa Claus. He exists as certainly as love and generosity and devotion exist. And you know that they abound and give to our life its highest beauty and joy. Alas, how dreary would the world be if there were no Santa Claus? It would be as dreary as if there were no Virginias. There would be no childlike faith then, no poetry, no romance to make tolerable this existence. We should have no enjoyment except in sense and sight. This eternal light in which childhood fills the world would be extinguished. Not believe in Santa Claus? You might as well not believe in fairies. You might get your papa to hire men to watch all the chimneys on Christmas Eve to catch Santa Claus. But even if they didn't see Santa Claus coming down the chimney, now what would that prove? Because nobody sees Santa Claus, but that is no sign that there is no Santa Claus. The most real things in the world are those that neither children nor men can see. Did you ever see fairies dancing on the lawn? Of course not. But there's no proof that there's not there. Nobody can conceive or imagine all the wonders that are unseen and unseeable in the world. You may tear apart a baby's rattle and see what makes the noise inside, But there is a veil covering the unseen world, which not even the strongest man or the united strength of all the strongest men that ever lived could tear apart. Only faith, fancy poetry, love, and romance can push aside that curtain and view the picture of the supernal beauty and glory beyond. Is it all real? Ah, Virginia, in all this world there is nothing else more real and abiding. No Santa Claus, thank God he lives, and he lives forever. 1,000 years from now, Virginia, no, 10 times 10,000 years from now, he will continue to make glad the heart of childhood. And yes, Virginia, there is a Santa Claus. All right, this is the stable. Just like we used to do when I would point to you, y'all are going to say the stable, dusty and brown. This is the stable, dusty and brown, in a quiet corner of the Bethlehem town. This is the star whose light shone down on the quiet stable, dusty and brown. This is the manger filled with hay to feed the animals sheltered away from the chilly night when the star shone down on the quiet stable, dusty and brown. This is the cow with a swishing tail whose gentle moo hushed a baby's wail. This is the donkey, gray and white, who stood near the manger all through the night. They both kept watch until the star shone down on the quiet stable, dusty and brown. This is the mother, her manner so mild, singing and rocking her newborn child. This is the father, patient and husband, patient and wise, guarding his family with watchful eyes. Together they settled the little one down in the quiet stable, dusty and brown. These are the shepherds tending their sheep out in the fields while the town was asleep. These are the angels, a glorious throng, who sang to the shepherds a wonderful song. Be not afraid, go to Bethlehem town, to a quiet stable, dusty and brown. These are the wise men, travelers three, who knew of an ancient prophecy. They followed the star whose light shone down on the quiet stable, dusty and brown. These are the gifts so fine to behold, frankincense, myrrh, and beautiful gold. They carried the presents uphill and down until they reached the stable, dusty and brown. This is the baby born that night in the stable marked by a star so bright. A baby boy who cooed and cried and looked around with his eyes open wide. Then cuddled and swallowed, he laid his head on the soft sweet hay in his manger bed. And he slept in the stable in the Bethlehem town, in the quiet stable, dusty and brown. This is the stable, dusty and brown, in the quiet corner of the Bethlehem town. With the coo of a dove for a lullaby, the little one slumbered with barely a cry, safe in the warmth and the light and love. Through all the night in the heavens above, the angels sang and the stars shone down in the quiet stable in Bethlehem town, the quiet stable, dusty and brown. And those are our stories we have for today. Yay! Those were some of my favorites. And now, here's what I did. I set up the room in little different stations. We have 4 different places you can go to do a craft. Let's see, that one is completely ready, and the candle one is completely ready. I got to get a little tiny bit more glue there, and that one is ready. I'm going to walk to the different, y'all kind of sit where you are and just turn your heads, and I'll show you what we got going at each one. We're making snowflakes. You take the glue stick, you put glue, 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 glue. Then, I tell you what you do, is you take some of this and you dump it along this table like this, and then you'll just take and stick your glue, stick it into the snow, okay? So take some of the snow and just put it on the front of the stone, on a big line of it, like right in through here. So that's that craft, okay? Everybody got that figured out? There's your example, kind of sort of what it's gonna look like. All right, now turn your head back around this way. Johnson County got lots of deer in it. If you ever drove a car, you've probably seen more than one. We're gonna make a deer. Okay, 3 is 3 different things. And what we got here is all in individual little piles. You've got your 3 little tongue depressors. I'm gonna put a little bit more glue out. You'll just take this here and use this to put your glue on with. I'm gonna put more jars of glue. So you glue this part down on the bottom, then you glue one across the top, then you glue a little bow, little nose, little eyes, and then we'll put the string on the back. Everybody got that? This is very simple. There's a candle that won't burn you. Everything is right here together in a little pile. You've got your cardboard tube. We have to be politically correct. It's not a toilet paper roll. Just to take and smear your cardboard tube with the glue, roll the paper. You might want to tuck it in a little bit on the bottom. Then this is for your flame. You take, and this is what this tape is for. I let this tape, y'all kids are big enough to work tape. You just take and tape your little thing onto the inside. Then you take your 2 little thingies like this and you make like a little flame with your glue. Everybody got that? And then your little base, you just glue it onto that when it's done. Like I said, these are all in individual little piles. Everything is together. That's 1, 2, 3. And our last thing is to make bookmarks. And we are so crazy about some recycling. I love to recycle stuff. What we've got here is we kind of gemmed them up a little bit at the top. We went ahead and cut them and hot glued this because that hot glue stuff is really weird. These are sayings out of Christmas cards. So then you just take and you pick your little saying and you do like that. And you got a bookmark. Now, of all these 4 things you make, you can keep, you got to keep at least 1. But I would like you, if you want to keep 2, you can, but I would like you to donate at least 2 that we're going to give to the nursing home, okay?